Well, believe it or not, we even recorded a CD with 4 bluegrass songs on it. I cannot believe that Midnight Cry did that. But we did, and that's one of the songs that's on there, on that bluegrass. The rest of them, there's no bluegrass. Okay? So, on the rest of our CDs, but just that one. But anyway, y'all are good people to sing to. Roy, you was right, son. You were right. And I love to see a lively church. A church that is excited about Jesus Christ. Amen. And I'm like Mark a while ago, well, you wish all the churches were like this, do we too? But thank God for the son that's still out there. Amen. Amen. You know, we're all doing better than we deserve tonight. If we got what we deserve, there's a lot of us that be in some serious trouble tonight. But aren't you glad that God showed his unmerited grace and favor to all of us?
I say, bless the Lord.
A few years ago, I was singing in North Carolina, and I was booked to the church on a Sunday morning up in Burlington, North Carolina, and was there for a homecoming. We had a great crowd, 700 or 800 people that morning. And the pastor told us, he said, Stan, just give me about 5 minutes. That's all I need. I said, okay. So that morning when he got up to speak, after got through singing, he said, church, I got to be honest with you. I got a confession I need to make as your pastor. He said, this week I went to a restaurant to get some breakfast and some coffee and walked in this restaurant here in town. And he said, the little waitress walked up to me and she looked at me, not knowing I was a pastor of a church, but she looked at me and she said, sir, how you doing? And he said, I looked at her and he said, I'm all right. And that was my reply to that young lady. I'm all right. He said, I felt kind of bad after I said that. The way I said it. He said, I decided I would ask that young lady, ma'am, how you doing? He said, even though I didn't know that girl, she didn't know me. He said, I got to tell you something. He said, I was ashamed of myself. But he said, the whole restaurant just lit up. There was a glow. There was a radiance on that young lady's face. And she looked at me, Brother Mike, she said, sir, all I can tell you is I'm doing better than I deserve. Guess what he preached on that morning? Better than I deserve. And being a songwriter, your wheels get to spinning. And I said, okay, if that's a sermon, I'm hearing a song in there somewhere. So I got to tell you a funny story. I told the pastor that morning after, I said, Pastor, I enjoyed that 5-minute sermonette you brought this morning. I said, you inspired me to write a song. He said, I did? I said, you sure did. He said, well, Stan, I can't wait to hear it. Was up there last year. Called. I got to town. He said, well, you get in okay? You got your hotel room all right? I said, yeah. He said, I got a question I want to ask you. I said, okay. What is it? He said, you are going to sing that song that I helped you write. Aren't you? I said, wait a minute, Pastor. I said, there's a difference in sitting down and helping somebody write a song and inspiring somebody to write a song. Okay, there is a difference. I said, you inspired me to write this song. So this morning, or tonight, I want to sing this song for you. And before we sing it, I want you to look at your neighbor, or your friend, or your husband, or your wife. Look at them. Look at them. Everybody turn. This is audience participation. Say, I'm doing better.
I'm doing better.
Doing better
than I deserve.
I deserve.
Amen.
Now, how many of y'all believe that tonight?
Yes, sir. Amen.
Hope you like this song. Better than I deserve. All right. Many times people ask me just how I'm feeling. I look at them and say I'm better than I deserve. And it often makes them wonder my reason for the answer. word. Every day I'm gonna praise Him, showing grace and mercy. He chose to be a sacrifice. Now I'm living a brand new life. I'm doing better, better than I deserve. If this is not your story, you're feeling down and blue, the devil has you bound and there's nowhere else to turn. Well, in the name of Jesus, those chains that bind are broken. With faith, believe you'll find power in the simple word. I'm doing better, better than I deserve. On that rugged cross of Calvary, He proved what I was worth. Every day I'm gonna praise Him, showing grace and mercy. He chose to be a sacrifice. Now I'm living a brand new life. I'm doing better, better than I deserve. Still doing better, better than I deserve. On that rugged cross of Calvary, He proved what I was worth. Every day I'm gonna praise Him, showing grace and mercy. He chose to be a sacrifice. And I'm living a brand new life. I'm doing better, better than I deserve. I'm doing better, better than I deserve. On the rugged cross of Calvary, He proved what I was worth. Every day I'm gonna praise Him, showing grace and mercy. He chose to be a sacrifice. Now I'm living a brand